Welcome back to your newest favorite podcast, Beards and Bitcoins, where BitBoy and J-Chains get together each week to talk about crypto and things happening in the community. They will bring you some special guests and giveaways, so make sure you're subscribed. For all show-related news, you can find the guys on various social media outlets. Everything is listed on the official show Twitter account, @BeardsBitcoins. Now, without further introduction, two dudes that have beards, like Bitcoins, and want to talk to you about both, BitBoy and J-Chains.
Hey everybody, welcome back to your favorite podcast, Beards and Bitcoins. This is episode 34. The age of the podcast is starting to catch up with my age in real life, and that makes me kind of like
Two more years. Two or three.
We got three beards on the show tonight.
Three beards on the show.
The trifecta. Yeah.
That's right. So we are joined by Crypto Beadles, Robert Beadles, aka Crypto Beadles. We're going to be talking about Monarch token tonight, and just a lot of cool stuff they've had going on. So definitely glad for him to be on the show today. I am your co-host, BitBoy. That is your other co-host, J-Chains.
What's up?
How have you guys been doing this week? I mean, it's been kind of a crazy week in crypto.
It has been crazy. What you got going on, Beadles? How's your week been?
Man, it's been nutty. Yeah, it's been nutty. Just lots and lots of travel, between conferences and meetings and pushing up new updates. It's been like a whirlwind of work, but it's been, I wouldn't change any of it. It's been a lot of fun. It's been awesome. I haven't really been keeping up on the news too much. We've been more trying to make it versus, read about it lately. But the stuff that I've seen out there in the news, there's definitely some cool stuff going on, man. So I'm excited, man. I'm very excited. How about you guys?
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy week this week. I was on vacation, so I took a few days off making videos. My kids made me promise I would not do videos or podcasts on vacation. So that's it. They're like 7 and under, all three of them. So they're very young. They probably shouldn't even know what a
wife
is. What's that?
You said they're all 7 and under? I thought you said the wife too.
No. The wife is
It's like, where in the U.S. do you live?
That would be
next door to Calvin Air. That's
what he made the joke. There it was. I didn't say it. It wasn't me. Don't sue me, Calvin. So, but yeah, it's definitely been very interesting getting back into the swing of things. And, there was a lot of news going on. The day we drove down was we went to Cocoa Beach in Florida was the day that all the HODL knot stuff was going on. So, for those of you that may not know exactly what happened, basically Calvin Air and Craig Wright decided that they were going to pay someone. They wanted to pay someone to dox, which if you don't know what dox means, it basically means reveal the identity of an anonymous Twitter account named HODLNOT. He is actually the person who started the lightning torch. I did not know that. I thought that was very, very interesting. And so basically all of Twitter in solidarity, except for me, I didn't do it, changed their profile picture to his profile picture, or at least put a little, he's a cat with an astronaut helmet on. So everybody put on the astronaut helmet, and everybody said, "We are HODLNOT," and stuff like that. But it actually, evolved much more than actually just that into Binance actually delisting Bitcoin SV.
So did
what do you guys
Kraken also doing it? I think there's like 2 or 3 exchanges that are delisting them.
There's more.
I believe. Yeah, I'm happy for this. I've been very vocal about this. I've been taking a lot of heat. My DMs have been lit up with people calling me trash. I don't care. Like those two guys are, and Kevin Pham's getting in on it. I mean, everybody's just hopping on this. Whatever. I just hope they all go away.
The question is, did Kevin Pham sell his account? Is that really still Kevin Pham behind that account?
I mean, it's like if you were like a linguist, right? If you were like one of those people that's your job, and like you go to court and be like, well, this person is like, they're saying the different things, or you're studying like a signature and be like, that's a different signature. I mean, you could see clearly these tweets that this guy's tweeting out now they're not even on the same level of what he did before. That's my opinion.
Somebody needs to do that, because that's how, what was the guy named Bitfinex with a D? He got doxxed, and the way they did it was basically finding some of phrases that he uses on Twitter, and I guess searching those phrases or going through Reddit, and found an account on Reddit that basically said a lot of the same kind of sounding quotes and cliches, and that's how they doxed him. So yeah, that'd be really interesting to see if somebody did that. But I think this really brings up a really important point for crypto. which is our exchange is too powerful, specifically Binance. Is it too powerful? I mean, they can basically give a project life or kill it with a listing or delisting. What do you think, Beadles?
I think people have the power. All the people have to do is just say, you know what, I've had enough of this exchange, and move their money somewhere else. So, I mean, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And a lot of these exchanges, they're going to, do whatever they feel like doing. And it's up to us to say whether we think it's in line or not. And if we don't, then we just move to, a much more, classy exchange that does things the way that we want. But yeah, that's just kind of my take on it, is just move your money where you agree with the way that they do their business.
Absolutely, man. I hear you on that. I feel as well the same kind of thing. Now, okay, granted, Binance does have a lot of power, and they have the ability to make markets, especially with these IEOs that they're doing, right? I mean, this launch pad that they're doing, it makes a lot of sense. I get it. Now, when you're talking about this BSV thing, I think that CZ listened to the people. I think that a lot of people said, hey, man, like, you're well respected in this industry. I mean, because he's the one who first off and said, hey, if you guys don't stop this, I'm going to delist you. And yeah, I mean, the people spoke. They said, please do it, because this doesn't represent crypto. This does not represent the community. And as the community spoke, and he answered. So I don't think it's Binance's responsibility. I think he listened to what the community had to say.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was going to say, I think no, I'm going to let you speak now, because I want to hear what you think, because I just like to hear myself talk sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, blockchain is at its core peer-to-peer, right? So at the end of the day, it should be, for the people, by the people, and they should ultimately decide where they put their money. They should ultimately decide, who they support, and they should voice it to the people that have put themselves as kind of like the third party for us, right? I'm a big fan of decentralized exchanges, but there's obviously some benefits that come from these big exchanges like Binance, right? Because some of the decentralized ones just don't have the liquidity, they don't have the trading pairs or whatever. But yeah, it's important that they listen to their customers, because if a business doesn't listen to their customers long enough, they're not going to have those customers. They're going to go somewhere where they're valued, where they're treated, like more than just a number on some kind of spreadsheet. So it's cool that they listen to the community.
Yeah, I think that is what makes this situation a little bit different, because I really feel like CZ put out that original tweet as a feeler. I think he put out that original tweet as a feeler to kind of check the temperature and see like how many people are adamant that this needs to happen. And I heard someone, I can't remember who it was that said it, but this is not really centralization. This is like consensus. That's the way crypto decentralization works, is through consensus. And the consensus of the community is, the crypto community in general, obviously Bitcoin SV holders notwithstanding, is that this is a scam project all the way around. Like, we don't want the hate and vitriol from that coin, the people that support it, the people who are behind it. We don't want that, in the community. And, what if, I don't even know like where BitConnect was listed or whatever, but like a coin like BitConnect, for instance, I don't think it was ever on Binance. I don't think, but if, for instance, a coin like that were to get delisted, that's a good thing. You don't want something that's a scam to be where people can buy it. And so, for me, I think it was a good thing he put out that feeler, and then Kraken took it another step, and they actually did an official poll and show that there is consensus that, there's a lot of communities that get hate in crypto. Bitcoin Cash gets a lot of hate. XRP gets a lot of hate. Tron gets a lot of hate. Those are probably the three most hated coins, I would say. But even within those three, I think if that question would have been asked, like, should we delist this? I don't think there would have been nearly the kind of swell of support for that as there is with Bitcoin SV, because it's not that it's like a bad project. The whole thing is just poison to crypto. It's a cancer. So Jesse
Powell, dude's a legend, right? He's the founder of Kraken. He's the guy that, put out the poll and said, basically, let's just let the people decide, right? And so that's, how it should be, right? Let the people decide. And so a lot of these camps, we'll just call them camps, that bash on other chains and whatnot, there's this degree of tribalism. A lot of the time it comes because they invested in that particular blockchain. They have their money there. And what, I mean, that says it all right there. They've got their money riding on that horse, and so they're going to defend it any way they can. And so there's a lot of trash talking in the space, and it's unfortunate. I mean, everybody should just, try to support each other and just, somebody's going to win. They're not all going to be, at the end of the day, household names. They're not all going to be, completely mainstream, but enough of them will help each other up to where there'll be handfuls. It'll be just like, like restaurants. You have McDonald's, you got Burger King, you got Taco Bell, Carl's Jr., Chick-fil-A. You got all these different types, and you're going to have the same thing in blockchain. So it's unfortunate that there's so much tribalism in the space. More people should be going for the, for the greater good. Let's get people into crypto. Let's get people into blockchain. Let's take back our power. Let's take back, our money, and we'll take it anywhere in the world we want and be able to use it any way we want. And that's what people should be doing right now, versus tearing each other down with that crab mentality, where you got the bucket of crabs, and as soon as one gets to the top, another one pulls it back down. They should all just link to each other and just pull each other out of the bucket, and they'd all be back in the sea, happy and free. But instead, we got all this tribalism, man, and it sucks and it's unfortunate. And hopefully, people start learning from it.
Oh, never heard that before. I would hate to be in a bucket of crabs.
just a wasteful.
Well,
and speaking of Carl's Jr., did you hear the announcement that they made today, or was it yesterday or today?
Yesterday.
So yesterday on April 20th, they are launching a CBD burger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it's going to be $4.20. They're launching it on the 20th of April.
What could possibly go wrong? Yeah.
But yeah, a bunch of guys that work in the kitchen at Carl's Jr. are going to go home with a sleeve of CBD burgers.
Yeah,
I can't believe they would do that with active ingredients in it, because you start having car accidents, you start having, the workers all freaking, high and just, not caring. And it's like, we'll get to them. We get to them. Yeah. That's a train wreck.
Is that not everybody in California already?
There's enough of us that don't.
Yeah, hippies.
Yeah, I know lots of people, that smoke weed and stuff like that, and that's cool, man. I got lots of buddies that do that, but that's just never appealed to me. To me, it just I don't know. I got too much energy. I have to be going all the time, and it seems like people that smoke weed, it allows them to slow down a little bit and just chillax, and I can't do that. So just for that reason alone, I've always stayed away from it. I figure anything God gives us, we can probably use. So whether it's tobacco or, it's corn or, I guess it's weed, whatever, it must be all right compared to all the pharmaceutical stuff that, kills all these people.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, that's when we do cannabis blockchains. We'll talk about.
There you go.
But yeah, so let's talking about exchanges and things like that. They were a hot topic on Twitter. Well, let's move to our monarchtoken.io crypto Twitter shout out segment, sponsored by monarchtoken.io, who we have the president right here, Crypto Beadles. So let's hit it up. Who you got this week, J Chains?
I will shout out Peter McCormick. I think is in the whole, let's bring it full circle in what we're talking about with the whole BSV air right kind of controversial thing. I think he got smack dab in the middle of it. He did ask for the lawsuit, and yeah, you asked for it and it came. But he's, in my opinion, I think that he did the right thing. He stuck up he was the voice of the community. He did ultimately poke some irons in the fire, or whatever the expression is that you'd want to use there. But good to his credit for doing so, and kind of making kind of the whole situation come to a head, and really get rid of a bunch of scamsters and some fraudsters and get rid of that coin. I feel bad for the investors, but they were kind of warned. So that's my shout out this week is to Peter McCormick.
Well, what about it was very interesting. He showed pictures from the actual lawsuit papers. I think it wasn't an actual lawsuit, was it?
I think it was.
It's a threat, right?
It was like, because it wasn't a summons. It wasn't a lawsuit.
Yeah, it's like, if you don't do this, then we're going to sue you. I think
it's like a
cease and desist.
Yeah,
basically.
So, demanding an apology. But I honestly, I don't often laugh out loud when I read tweets or things. When I read his letter back with the signature Peter McCormick age, I laughed so hard. I think that was very well done. So kudos to you, buddy.
Yeah, he's a funny dude. I think one of the funniest things was in that the cease and desist or whatever. It was technically on the legal side. Basically, what you had to do to not get the lawsuit is you had to apologize. Well, you had to promise to never say Craig Wright was not Satoshi again, and also you had to, in writing, say, "I'm sorry. I now believe that Craig Wright is Satoshi." And
I think he had to say it. He had to show up in court and say that to the judge, I think.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's freaking insane. Because, here's the thing, and I brought this up on Twitter, and I think this is very important for people to listen to, because the rhetoric on Twitter gets really insane. Slander. What is slander? I mean, that's basically what this is, right? They're claiming that he's being slandered because, people are saying that, he's not Satoshi, and he's saying it is. You can't be sued for something for slander for calling someone something that they are, that they really are not. Like, if I said I'm the president of the United States and you say I'm not, I can't sue you because I'm not the president. So for this to go through, he would actually have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was Satoshi. And we all know that he can't do it. However, there has been a lot of stuff on Twitter calling Calvin Ayre a pedophile, just like Jay Chains insinuated, right? He's basically just
whoa.
I mean, it was a joke. It's in between the lines. He didn't factually say it. But you can't just go call someone a pedophile online. That you can be sued for that. That is literally the definition of slander. You see somebody with a younger looking woman, girl, you think
those ladies look very young.
But that doesn't matter though. You don't have the proof. Like I'm telling you guys, I know a girl that's 25 years old and she looks like she's 12. Literally every time she goes anywhere, people stop her because they don't think she's supposed to be driving. I kid you not, So there are girls out there that look very young. Now, he said they were all 18 and 17, the ones from the picture or whatever. But my whole point is this. Regardless of what you think, that is a really serious thing to call someone. That's literally the worst thing that you can actually call someone in the world is a pedophile. And so to say that without proof, you got to watch your tongue, man. You can't say stuff like that because if he really wanted to go after people for saying he was a pedophile, I think he could actually do it. The stuff with calling Craig Wright not Satoshi, obviously, that's not,
It's really easy for Craig Wright to prove that he's Satoshi. Just sign a transaction with the original Bitcoin address. Done.
That's it. All you got
to go. It's really that simple, man. Unless he just likes the drama. I mean, if he's really Satoshi, just do that. And then, hey, we'll all bow down and say Satoshi, right? But until he can do that, I mean, there's always going to be that skepticism. So
what do you think about McAfee trying to, with his little thing where he's dropping hints and says that he's going to release who the identity of Satoshi is?
With McAfee, he's probably one of the best people on the planet to stay relevant. He's always got this way to create this hype, this buzz, this skepticism, this, for lack of a better word, like this freak show of just entertainment that draws everybody in. And he's really good at that, and so whether he could actually do it or not, who knows, but you're talking about him and he's relevant. He's in the news talking about it again. People didn't forget him. He's not just out there, just kind of, lofting around on his boat, just kind of, out there on the waves, in international waters or whatnot. He's still staying fresh on people's minds. And so if he could actually prove it, or disprove it, kudos to him. But I think he's just, a mad genius in marketing. I think this is a high degree of intellect too.
I think this is a long game Rickroll in the works. Ooh. I think we're all going to get Rickrolled. I think he's gonna say, all right, I have no choice but to reveal who Satoshi is. And it's going to pan to a dark shadowy figure with a voice synthesizer. And then right when the guy starts to talk, he says, I am Satoshi. Rick Astley's going to pop up. We're all going to get Rickrolled. So
yeah. Satoshi Nakamoto is Satoshi Nakamoto.
I actually looked quite a bit into this. I actually, put a contest together for my viewers and basically said, hey, look, why don't you guys write an article on whether you believe that, Craig Wright is or isn't Satoshi, and we'll pick a winner. And I think I gave away like $2,000, $1,800, something like that between, the top 3 or 4 people that wrote the articles. And it was really interesting to see, how pretty much every single one of them said that he wasn't Satoshi, and this wasn't me doctoring it or anything. I just put a contest out there and just said, hey, prove or disprove that Craig Wright's Satoshi. And they all basically came back that, unequivocally he was not. And that's just what they said. So it was interesting. And I did my own research, before that and looked into it a little bit. And I have a very different idea who Satoshi is. But who do you all think Satoshi is?
Oh, you think it's aliens or AI?
Nah.
No, that's a popular thing. Honestly, the more that this continues, this ridiculousness of Craig Wright, the more I believe that it was Dave Kleiman or someone that he was working closely with, because I feel like the only way he can be this bold about saying he's Satoshi is if he knows for 100% sure that no one can actually disprove him. Because it's one of those things like, I can say I'm anything, but you have to prove that I'm not. The burden of doubt, or the burden of proof would be on you to provide it. And so that's kind of the way he's playing it, is he knows that the only way he can be 100% disproven is if Satoshi actually is revealed. And if he's dead already, then, and plus if it was Dave Kleiman, then they had a working relationship. I mean, there's a lawsuit going on between Kleiman's family and him. I don't know if it's settled yet, but the more that this goes on, the more that I believe that theory is correct. So who you think it is, Jay Chains?
I don't know who it is. We got into a beta this when Stash and I were in Texas. The thing that people are leaving out is actually, Satoshi wrote the white paper, but who edited it? Didn't someone have to proofread that white paper? Yeah, there was a guy who the original.
Guys, that's an inside joke between me and Jay Chains. We just got really in depth with an inside joke there. Nobody else.
We had to cut it out of our last podcast only because it was just so in depth and I gave too much information. But I was the guy who, like when you do a spell check on a paper, like before spell check is when the white paper was wrote. And I was the original spell checker, so I proofread the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I did claim that I had to transcribe it from Mandarin to English. So. I have no idea. And I hope we never find out, to be honest with you. I like the mystery behind the whole thing.
Beadles is about to tell us right now who it is.
All right, lay it on me, brother.
All right, well, so like you said, they're either dead or they know that the person that actually did, the bulk of the coding or something like that, or the bulk of the work, has no ambitions whatsoever to ever get in the spotlight and is vehemently against it and would never, ever do it. And so you could go out and say whatever you wanted because you know that the original person that could only disprove you has no intentions whatsoever of ever getting into the spotlight. Okay, so there are people like that, that never want to be, seen in the light of day. They don't want the spotlight. They don't want the attention. They know what it would bring. So I have a very good idea. What's that?
Old Zabo.
See, so like I've said this before. So I've said this before, I told everybody at the end of the contest, I think Nick Szabo is Satoshi. Why? It's simple. I look through, if you look at his emails, and again, I could be wrong, but if you look at the emails, they go dark right about the time that Satoshi's, writing. They go live again when he's not. He actually, his project Bitcoin Gold or BitGold was actually prior to Bitcoin, and it was one of the only things not listed in the white paper as a reference. And so in the white paper, it references all the previous projects that were used as prior art, and it doesn't have that listed there at all. And in fact, well, not in fact, from what I've been told, I haven't seen the actual emails and whatnot, but I was told that Szabo actually reached out to people and told them to post date, like take an older date and make it look newer. So it looks like it was posted more recently than Bitcoin itself. You follow me? So why would you do that with articles? Why would you make them come out after Bitcoin instead of before Bitcoin, unless you're trying to manipulate the time scale so that way people don't think that it was actually you? And he's been very, very quiet about it, and his writing style is very similar. He's very articulate, extremely smart. That's the guy that I don't think it was just him. I think, there was several people that did it together. And I think, Hal Finney, I think Dave Kleiman, I think all those guys could have worked together. I think Craig Wright might have been a part of it. I don't think it was just one person, but I think one of the main people, one of the true people, behind it was probably Szabo. And again, I could be wrong. So I could be wrong, but that's just, what my research has led me to believe, and I'm wrong a lot. So who knows?
Well, he's adamantly denied it.
Of course.
For good reason. He's adamantly
bullseye.
denied it.
Yeah.
And there was a time where Craig Wright and Nick Szabo were on a panel together, and supposedly it was all a big setup so that basically Nick Szabo could put Craig Wright in his place. And unfortunately, due to the way the questions were asked and stuff, like it never I think at that point Craig Wright had not actually officially came out yet as Satoshi. But that would have been such a great opportunity, to kind of crush Craig Wright, and it didn't happen. So I don't know. I think you're right. I think there's more to this story than we know. I don't think it's just one person. I think there was maybe one main person that wrote the white paper, but there definitely had to be other people involved, I believe. So, but let's get back to our Monarch.
I was going to say, we just need.
We've gone so far. So far.
Well, we got like 10 minutes left, so let's just talk about our favorite coins of the week, and we'll just.
Okay, who you got this week? Who you got, Beadles?
Oh, for favorite coin of the week?
No, for crypto Twitter shout out.
Oh, a Twitter shout out. Yeah, I would say Roger K. Ver. There you go. So he's our newest, advisor and partner and investor in Monarch, and he is one of the OGs of making Bitcoin a household name. And the dude, love him or hate him, that guy's done more for the space than I would say probably most anybody. I would say you got Brock Pierce, you got Roger Ver, you got a few other cats out there that have really helped with the adoption that we have today that got so many people in it. And so we're honored to have him on the team, regardless of some of the naysayers out there. It's part of that it's part of that stuff I was talking about earlier, the crabs pulling each other back down into the bucket and all this tribalism and all that kind of stuff. You just see what the dude does for the space. It's far more good than bad. So
I think he picked up a lot of respect from a lot of people this week when he kind of jumped on the bandwagon about the Craig Wright Calvin Ayre thing. Like, he had a really funny post.
Oh, you made that video.
Or video, yeah, excuse me. Thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
So let me do my Twitter shout out, and then we're going to come back to that because that's actually something I wanted to talk about on when we're talking about Monarch. So we'll get back to that real quick. I want to shout out. Here's mine. I had to relook up the Twitter handle because it's been like an hour since we started the Twitter shout out. It is @Flow Family and the Flow. These are water bottles.
Sounds like it's that time of the month, buddy. Look at those eyes. If only people on the podcast could see that.
Oh my God. But listen, this is not sponsored. They sent me a bunch of bottles, but
the color's disturbing. It says the Flow on it, and the color is even disturbing.
Trust me. They sent me so many of these things that I can literally open a bottle shop. Like, I kid you not. Yeah, I have like 3 boxes full of these, and they're really good water bottles.
Let's do a giveaway.
Okay. All right, but you got to be in America to win because I'm not shipping a water.
Yeah,
bottle.
we're not doing international.
Yeah, let's do 3. Here, I'll send out 3 of them. How about that? Yeah, because it cost me like $100 to send out 5. Come on, let's keep it real. Yeah, I'll send out 3 of these. We'll make a contest post or whatever. When we post the podcast. But my wife loves these things. She says that they're really good. The kids love them. The way they drink from them is there's some that got little straws. They got like 5 or 6 different kinds that they sent me. So shout out to them. It's @the Flow Family. So just want to shout them out. I haven't really said anything publicly about it, but they sent me a ton of them, and my family's got a lot of. Every time somebody comes over, we're like, "Hey, want a water bottle?" So yeah, we'll give away 3 of them. So okay, guys, let's get back to the topic at hand. I wanted to come back to this Roger Ver thing, but I also did not want to forget my shout out. Yeah, so it was pretty controversial. You got a lot of controversial responses to Roger Ver coming on as an advisor. And so, I actually just recently did a video where I talked about when Roger Ver first got into cryptocurrency. It was through something called the Free State Project. And, there is a very, very interesting story how he came into space. He, has been anarchist is not the right. It's anarch something. He has some kind of title revolving around. He actually gave up his American citizenship several years ago. He's a huge libertarian and things like that. And, reading about the beginning of him coming into crypto was extremely fascinating. And I think I almost didn't realize, or I can say I didn't realize the impact. he was the first person to invest millions of dollars into blockchain startups. And some of those companies that you know today, BitGo, BitInstant, which isn't around anymore, but was a huge player in the space. Kraken was another one, and there's several other companies that he invested in. He was already an internet entrepreneur. He had a website called Memory Keeper or something. The website isn't there anymore, so you can't really tell what it is. I assume it was some kind of shop for pictures, or like framing pictures or something by the name, but not really sure. But he'd already done very well for himself. He's a huge investor. He would go around speaking. He was one of the founding members of the Bitcoin Foundation, along with Charlie Shrem and Eric Voorhees, I believe, and some other folks. And so, he did a lot of really, really, really positive stuff in the space. I don't think he gets credit for that. Where people are down on him is since the Bitcoin Cash fork, there have been people say the @Bitcoin Twitter handle, the /BT subreddit, and Bitcoin.com are all used in a manipulated way to make new people think that, as they refer to it, that Bitcoin Cash is the same as Bitcoin Core. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Was that a question to me or to Jay?
Yeah, to you. I mean, like, do you understand why people,
He doesn't ask me questions.
I don't ask him questions. I don't interview him. It was a poorly worded question. The point is, I guess, what I'm trying to ask here is, do you see from other people's perspective why that one specific thing puts a bad taste in people's mouth?
No, I get what you're saying, but again, you have to look at it. It's just a point in time, and then also perspective, right? So he put his heart and his soul into Bitcoin, and so he owned Bitcoin.com before there was a Bitcoin Cash.
Exactly.
And I think it was called Memory Dealers, if I remember right. The name of
Memory Dealers, that's right.
Yeah, so Memory Dealers, and then I think there was something too, like Agile Star or something like that for fiber optics. But yeah, I mean, the dude has done so much for Bitcoin, right? And then they got into it with the core team, and so he says, you know what? I'm going to go start my own thing. And actually, he didn't even start Bitcoin Cash. I don't know if you know this or not. It's not like he went and started Bitcoin Cash. He just left Bitcoin and became part of Bitcoin Cash. It wasn't him that actually started it, although he gets credit for it, I guess. But it wasn't actually him that started it. And so, the dude has just constantly been helping the space grow. He's been investing in companies, like you said, from Kraken to BitGo and a bunch of other things. And he's put his money where his mouth is at. He's been out there getting people to download wallets from the very beginning. He's done more for like Bread and people like that, those wallets, than they ever did themselves. He was out there just pushing other people's products, just getting people into the space. And he's done this just for years and years and years. And, I can't say that everything that he's ever said is, completely PC, but dude, this is crypto, right? This isn't, this isn't Amazon. This isn't, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. This is crypto.
I'm the only person that's family friendly in crypto.
Yeah. But, at his core, dude, I mean, he's a great guy that, is basically doing this for the betterment of the space. He's made a lot of money, and he's, helping grow the space, using his celebrity, using his voice, his intellect, his money, all that kind of stuff, to help grow the space. And so, we're honored to have him on board. I mean, he's one of the true pioneers. I mean, there's lots of people that, if for instance, they're a Bitcoin maximalist and then they see Bitcoin Cash, they're like, oh, you're basically just trying to, steal the thunder from Bitcoin and, use it for your own thing. But they don't, what they forget to, really give him credit for is Bitcoin is where it's at, in large part because he was one of the voices for it. You know what I mean? So I understand both sides of it. Trust me, I do. In the beginning, I was very skeptical of Ver. You know what I mean? It's not like I was a really big fan like that in the beginning. And then after I got to know him, I'm like, dude, this dude's legit. This guy's actually, really, really cool. And he's just kind of misunderstood by some of the camps out there. And I think if they saw him for who he really is, I mean, it's like they would all embrace him and support him. But you got guys like my buddy Tone Vase, they just, you're not going to knock this into his head, right? You're like, he's just going to always be, anti-Ver. But you know what? They're both my buddies. And, I see both of their points. But at the end of the day, they're both doing great things for the space, and I embrace them both. I'm not going to get mad at one over the other, or stop liking somebody because they like somebody. At the end of the day, this is all about
that's the tribalism you've been talking about. Like, that's the tribalism.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate. It's like, oh, I can't like you anymore because you like him. It's like, how petty is this? This sixth grade, what is it? Are you a chick? You're some like 6th grade schoolgirl, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, we're trying to like bring blockchain to the masses here. You know, we need as many people, you know, together, all going in the right direction together, not pulling each other apart. And so that's one thing he's done from the beginning, is just constantly push the ball forward. You know, the blockchain ball, just pushing it forward and getting more and more people into the space. And you know, a lot of the stuff that you know is probably because of him. You know what I mean? It's like it never would have made mainstream without his help and him out there speaking and getting people involved. You know, it's an honor to have him on board, period.
Absolutely. I was just going to agree with you. I was going to say that, you know, it's like trying to fight with somebody that Coke is better than Pepsi. It just,
sure.
You know,
and then you stop liking somebody because they're drinking Coke instead of Pepsi. I go, I don't like you anymore. You drink Coke. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, as long as you're promoting soda, like everyone's going to be happy.
God, I'm wearing Pepsi colors right now. Dang it.
Yeah. And so not to steal the thunder from your giveaway, but, you know, we always give away, you know, $100 on every one of our videos. And I always try to give away a bunch of Monarch swag. So, you know, being how, you know, we're sponsoring, we'll give away 9 hats, you know, or shirts. So we got, I don't know if you can see here. So we got gray and black hats.
Nice.
And then we got, pick 9 winners, however you want to do it. Just let me know. And, you know,
I know one of the winners will be coming from Austin, Texas.
So we'll give away $100 of Bitcoin Cash right here on your show. You can pick the winner. I'll pay him, and then you can pick 9 winners for hats or shirts, whatever they want.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Thanks.
It's going to be a huge giveaway, because we're going to give away 3 water bottles, 9 shirts or hats, and $100 in Bitcoin Cash. How about that?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I think maybe I said BitPay when I was saying the companies invested in it. It was BitGo, for sure. But yeah, and you know, like really looking more into all that stuff, you know, and really kind of understanding the perspective of why they forked Bitcoin in the beginning. It made sense. You know, that it was really to help. You know, unfortunately, it's just there's an image issue. You know, that people outside the Bitcoin Cash community, you know, would probably say, but. I'm open-minded, you know, for sure about it. So the one complaint everybody gives about him is what I already talked about, you know. So, you know, now knowing all the positive stuff that he's done, and it really is true. Like, look into it. If you know you don't know, do your own research. Look into all the things that he did initially for the space, and say like, okay, this one thing in terms of Bitcoin.com, like, is this doing more harm than the good that he's already done? And I just think that's an interesting question to look at. So, but that isn't the only news that you guys have going on. So you also have a partnership with Total, which I thought was pronounced Toddle. I don't, maybe a hodl meme you know, or something. But you had never toddled me, you know, what it was. So Toddle, you know, told guys.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're funny.
Yeah, I'm freaking hilarious. I'm on fire. I'm on fire tonight.
King of the dad jokes over here.
King of the dad jokes. Okay. So yeah, tell us about that partnership and you know what that means for Monarch going forward.
All right. Well, we'll go back to like Bitcoin Cash. So the first partnership there is we've already introduced the ability now to buy Bitcoin Cash from within the Monarch Wallet, as well as to earn interest on it. You've also, within the next, week or two, they have what's called Simple Ledger Protocol, which is kind of like Bitcoin Cash's version of Ethereum of sorts. So we'll have that in wallet supported. We're pretty close on Apple. There's a few little tweaks we got to make. But hopefully within the next week or two, we'll have Simple Ledger Protocol from Bitcoin Cash within the Monarch Wallet. So a lot of value, man, a lot of really cool stuff. And Roger, yeah, he invested in, it was BitPay. I remember now it was BitPay and Kraken.
It was BitPay, so it wasn't BitGo. Golly, we can't get
this. He might have. And then the other one was Purse.io and then blockchain.info or blockchain.com, one of those.
Blockchain something. Yeah, I remember.
Dude, he's put his money out there and just helped all these people grow. So it's pretty incredible. And he's been a huge help and resource to us. And it's going to bring a lot of value to the community for sure. So we're super excited and stoked to show you what we're going to do. And everything I just mentioned right there is just kind of the beginning. So that right there it sounds like a lot, but normally I don't announce anything until it's done. And so just like with the interest and being able to buy it, we made sure that we built it. It's live. It's in the Apple store now. It's in the Android store now. You can do all that today. Normally I wouldn't announce. There you go. Look at that. So normally I wouldn't announce, SLP or any of that kind of stuff until, but enough people already know about it. He's already talked about it. So I'll let people know that that's coming here shortly as well with Total. My boy Dave over there, they're doing great things. They've basically created a smart contract that allows for the swapping of ERC20 tokens between about 14 different exchanges. And so we took their code and their APIs and we basically just did our thing with it, threw it in Monarch, did the UX, UI, all that kind of stuff to it. So now today you guys can, we have the first decentralized wallet that I'm aware of in a decentralized, we have the world's first decentralized exchange within a decentralized wallet that I'm aware of. I don't know of anybody else that has that. Maybe there is, but then you also have the ability to buy and sell with your credit card or your bank account, as well as earn interest. And here shortly, loans as well too, plus your market cap, your portfolio tracker, your news, all that kind of cool stuff. So it's free, and all that stuff is live today. It's not one of those white paper promises, and there's so many things that we have coming that is just, it's really incredible. And I want to just tell you guys, and I want to tell everybody what we're doing, but I'd rather just show you than tell you. So over the next couple of weeks, you guys are going to see some pretty crazy stuff coming out of our camp, and we're really excited to share it with the world. So stay tuned.
Secretive. Sounds very secretive.
Super exciting.
Yeah, one of them it might take me 30 days to announce, and I don't know if I can even announce it in the US. So it's a global,
go off property.
I might. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to have to speak with legal and see exactly what I can say about it. But you guys will be able to, read about it in other countries. if we can't talk about it in this one, I'm not sure yet.
Is it a flat Earth announcement? Are you guys announcing the Earth is flat? Is that it?
No, Ben, I'm not going to knock you for your beliefs.
Whoa, I'm not a flat Earth.
My favorite meme is one that the kid showed me, is where it shows all these round planets. And forgive me, I have some really smart friends that think the Earth is flat, and
I do. We do too.
It's like, are you kidding me? You're like one of the smartest people I know. How can you think that? But anyways, one of my favorite memes is where it shows all these round planets. So you see, you see like the moon is round, right? You see Jupiter and Mars and Uranus and everything else. It's all round. Yeah, I know you would. I know, but that's later. That's later, baby.
Whoa!
But,
After.
Make sure you bring the flow with you. All right.
Edit this out, please. No.
Anyways, you see all these round planets, right? And then out of nowhere, you got this Tupperware container, Earth. It's like it's one of my favorite memes. The kid shows it to me all the time. Or the one that shows these shoes. It's like if the Earth isn't flat, it's got a flat shoe sole, and then the other shoe has a sole like this, where it's kind of arched. So I don't know. I find those memes amusing. But even when they did that Behind the Curve on Netflix, they had those guys trying to show that the Earth is flat and all that kind of stuff, and it just kind of blew up in their face. Every experiment, and it was actually, I felt pretty sad for those people because they made it look like it was just a group effort to basically create some kind of, I don't know. It was just like a consortium of people.
Wasn't that done by Logan Paul?
I don't know. I don't remember the name of it. I saw it on Netflix.
It was basically a giant mockumentary, really.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole time.
You walk away feeling bad for him.
Yeah, Logan Paul's a huge YouTuber. What's that? Yeah, he's one of the biggest YouTubers. He's very, very popular. If you don't know who he is, your kids definitely do. He went to a flat Earth convention and pretended to be a flat earther. He actually got on stage and he was like, "I'm Logan Paul and I'm coming out as a flat earther." And he was dead serious. The whole time he was there, he was dead serious. And it was really just a giant troll, which, of course, it's Logan Paul. Like, you have to know that, it's like if he said he was going on the bit bus, guys, if he said he was going on the bit bus, we know that he would be on there to troll us, So the Flat Earth conference kind of just fell right into it. But, it's very interesting because I watched a YouTube video about the documentary, and it was a documentary on the documentary. And what they said is very interesting, that YouTube is a breeding ground for conspiracies like we've never seen before. And I can relate to this heavily because I don't really believe in conspiracy theories in general. I always say this to all my friends that are, giant conspiracy theorists, like, okay, show me one giant conspiracy that's ever been proven to be true. Of course, their response is, it's a conspiracy. It'll never be proven. But JFK or not landing on the moon, whatever it is that they say, like, just if I see one earth-shaking piece of information on something I believe for my whole life that is factually inaccurate, I might be open to be like, okay, maybe I don't know as much as I think I do, which we all know is a lot. And so, YouTube breeds that, and YouTube has actually been looking into trying to change algorithms to make those videos not so popular, because I don't believe in conspiracy theories in general, like I said. But if I start watching YouTube videos about a conspiracy, if you watch 10 to 12 YouTube videos about the craziest sounding thing ever, you'll start to, in a small way, believe it,
Oh.
So you kind of get this confirmation bias because I used to do it with the Illuminati. I'd watch these Illuminati videos and I'd be like, these are so stupid. Why is this showing up in my feed? And like, I'd watch them. And by the end I was like, dang, maybe Jay-Z really is in the Illuminati, so.
I don't know, but some of the things you said there just kind of scare me about the censorship and stuff like that with YouTube. They're like, well, maybe these people shouldn't be consuming this stuff, so let's create another algorithm that hides it. You know what I mean? So it's like people should be able to watch, for the most part, whatever they want, right? There's obviously, some drastic, extremes that, should never be on anybody's video screen. But, for the most part, you should be able to consume whatever you want, just like food, right? For the most part, you should be able to eat whatever you want. You should be able to see whatever you want. So, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to apply, some reason, some intellect, some street smarts, and things like that to what you watch and consume. But at the end of the day, I mean, a conspiracy is nothing more than just a less popular belief than the mainstream, right? So if everybody says it's blue and a small percentage of them say it's yellow, well, they're conspiracy theorists just because it's against the mainstream viewpoint. So it doesn't mean that they're all right, it doesn't mean that they're all wrong, but you should always do your own research, just like in crypto.
Yeah, I think people always want to believe that there's something more going on than is really going on. That's what I think. People like we thrive on that.
There is something going on that's not going on.
What?
They treat us like mushrooms. They keep us in the dark and feed us crap.
I mean, people believe that stuff. They believe that we're really, that we're all under mind control all the time and all this stuff.
Was it you that told me when you were here? I think it was you that was telling me that the one conspiracy where it's like, all right, we've got our universe and there are other universes, and it's like Men in Black.
That's not a conspiracy. That's not a conspiracy.
People are playing marbles with our universes here.
Yeah, no. That's a little bit different. That's the multiverse theory that basically says that our universe is like a giant bubble, and we're just one of like an infinite number of bubbles. But where that gets a little bit different is because scientists can scientifically show, which I don't put a ton of faith in science. Oh, I put a lot of faith in science, but I don't always put a lot of faith in kind of these fringe science theories. But they say that they can show evidence, or they believe they can, that something has hit our universe before. So eventually, who knows, maybe that could be something that could be proven. It's not really, when you're talking about different dimensions, it's a little bit different than conspiracies, because conspiracies are more like people believe that there's information hiding beneath the surface that would totally change our worldviews. But, with, something like a multi-dimensional, a fourth dimension or a multiverse, that's stuff that eventually we might actually be able to prove, if that makes sense. So, it's all, those are all theories. They're not conspiracy, they're theories. I guess that's the best way to say it. So we got deep into theories.
This is another episode altogether. I mean, we could talk all day, about multiverses and super colliders and everything else, but
oh yeah, for sure.
You got another video. You got another video in a few minutes, don't you? So you got to go.
Yeah. We got a hard cutoff, guys.
There you go.
So, but yeah, well, thank you so much, Robert, for joining us and telling us everything that's been going on with Monarch. I know, Jay Chains and I were, pleased to have you as a sponsor here, or to have, Monarch as a sponsor. We really believe in what you guys are doing. And so, we definitely want to have you on again, every few months to kind of give us a rundown of what's going on. So thanks for joining us. And, if you could tell everybody where they could find you real quick.
First of all, it's my honor to, help support good people in the space, man. So just keep bringing awareness to the people, keep doing your thing. We're all in this together. So, I mean, as far as Monarch, it's free. All right. That's a tough sell right there. Right. So I don't care if you don't have to, don't buy a token. I don't care if you guys want to earn some tokens. You can go to our Telegram page. It's just Monarch token. You can join the bounty right there. You can get, hundreds of tokens just by doing that. If you download our app, in the settings field, there's a button there that says contests, and we're going to start giving away about 1,000 tokens every single week, just to random people, just because. So that way people can, get some tokens if they want. As far as, they can go to the Apple Store right now, the Android Store, download what I think is the best cryptocurrency, decentralized cryptocurrency wallet on the planet, plus the ability to buy and sell and earn interest on your crypto, as well as a decentralized exchange, all within, plus, your portfolio, your market cap, your news, your private seed key, all that stuff belongs to you. And don't forget, we're going to give away $100 at Bitcoin Cash on this episode right here, plus 9 hats or 9 shirts to 9 of your winners. So 10 people. So there you go. Pick 10 people and, spread the love, man. So, Bitcoin Cash, we're proud and honored to have them, on board. And Roger Ver is, is an incredible dude. And hopefully people, they look past, some of the tribalism and things like that and just start embracing people that are doing great things in the space for the right reasons.
Amen to that, man. It's good to see that. And like you said earlier, you said it right. Like him or love him, he does a lot for the space. It's great to see you working with just such big names in the space, and we're really proud to be working with you. And thanks for sponsoring the show, man.
Good time, man. Love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
God bless.
See ya.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for listening to Beards and Bitcoins. If you like what you heard, show these guys some love and rate review on SoundCloud or iTunes. Also, remember you can always find the guys on social media. The show Twitter page is @BeardsBitcoins. You'll find direct links to BitBoy and JChains from there. Make sure you check for updates, announcements, and contests. Good luck to all who enter. See you next time.